It is $9.68 to get into this game. It's $9. This is the cheapest it's been to get into an Indiana Fever game all year.
Let me say this clearly because it needs to be said. The WNBA completely dropped the ball on Caitlin Clark. She is not just a rookie. She is the reason half of America started watching women's basketball again. And what did the league do in return? They let her get brutalized on national TV. Repeated hits, no flagrant fouls, no protection, no accountability. And now she's sitting on the sidelines injured while the playoffs unfold without their biggest draw.
This is actually the cheapest it's been. Look, I still think it's going to be nearly a sellout because I'm sorry, if I lived anywhere near Indiana, if it was 10 quid, I'd go to the game. I'd go to the game. I'd absolutely go to the game. I don't care. I'll pay $10. It's cheaper to be in the arena watching the game than it is.
She's your golden egg, and you cracked her. Let's talk about how this happened, why fans and analysts are furious, and what this says about the WNBA's leadership, or lack of it. From the moment Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, she became the story. Viewership skyrocketed. Merchandise flew off the shelves. Ticket sales hit record highs. She was the spark the league desperately needed. And yet, when it came to protecting her on the court, silence. Game after game, Clark was hit hard, bumped, shoved, slammed, and we're not talking about regular fouls. We're talking unnecessary physicality that went unchecked. Refs swallowed whistles. Commentators danced around it. The league said nothing, and now we're here. Clark, injured, groin strain, done for the season. And the WNBA, still pretending it's business as usual, but it's not. This was a preventable situation. You don't let your most valuable player get bullied out of the playoffs. You just don't. You can't talk about Caitlin Clark without acknowledging what she brought to the sport beyond the stat sheet. She turned casual fans into followers. Her story, a small-town Iowa kid dominating on the biggest stage, was relatable, inspiring, electric. And that's exactly why this hurts so much. Clark wasn't just building a highlight reel, she was building a movement. She showed up, handled criticism, never complained, and competed with fire. She made other players richer by raising the league's profile. But behind all of that was a quiet truth. She needed protection. Not special treatment, just fair treatment. When you see star players in the NBA or NFL, the league protects its investments.
I cannot believe that I had not seen this up to this point. I cannot believe that I had not seen this. But everywhere, and I mean it, everywhere Caitlin Clark has gone, she has been swarmed. Apparently she's somewhere here. Apparently she is somewhere here. And it's clear there are hundreds, if not thousands of people showing up anywhere Caitlin Clark is at All-Star Weekend. Like,
period. You bump Steph Curry midair, you're getting a flagrant. You take down Patrick Mahomes late, expect a fine. But Clark? They let her get hacked up like she was expendable. This isn't hindsight. Analysts, fans, and former players were calling it out weeks ago. You saw the takes. Clark's taking hits every game. The refs are letting too much go. The WNBA better protect their future. People saw it coming. The temperature was rising every week, and the WNBA just ignored it. Social media was flooded with slow-motion clips of Clark taking elbows, being shoulder-checked without the ball, getting hit on drives with no call, and every clip went viral. Not because she flopped, but because there was a clear pattern of neglect. Even respected voices like Jason Whitlock, Gemma Hill, and analysts on ESPN called it out with increasing urgency. "You don't ignore your draw," one anchor said bluntly. "That's not growing the game. That's risking it." Still, the league stayed quiet. No public statement, no policy adjustment, no clarification of officiating standards. And while some fans initially brushed it off as rookie initiation, that excuse started falling apart when it became obvious this wasn't happening to anyone else with the same frequency or intensity. So now, the WNBA has a PR crisis on its hands, and worse, a credibility one. Because when your fans are screaming for justice and you shrug it off, what does that say about how much you value them or your players? This isn't just a league failure, it's becoming a locker room fracture, and the ripple effects might be bigger than anyone's ready to admit.
Caitlin Clark making rounds, the Indiana Fever under a microscope, ticket sales looking shaky, baby. Let's get right into it. Caitlin Clark delivering, and the Indiana Fever delivering a promo for tonight's playoff game. Do or die, win or go home against the Atlanta Dream.
You see, when Caitlin Clark first entered the WNBA, she came in with all the hype in the world. First overall pick, college legend, record-breaking viewership. She wasn't just a player, she was a brand. And in any other professional league, that kind of star power is protected, not just by referees, but by teammates, coaches, and yes, even opponents who understand the bigger picture. But in Caitlin's case, that protection was nowhere to be found. Let's talk honestly. There's undeniable tension surrounding Clark's rapid rise. Some veteran players feel overshadowed. Others feel like they've grinded for years without the attention she's received in just one season. And while that feeling is understandable, it's created a culture where Clark is being treated less like a teammate and more like a target. You can see it on the court. Opponents are more physical with her than anyone else. Cheap shots, hard fouls, borderline body checks, it happens game after game. And what's most troubling, her teammates rarely react. No one gets in the face of the aggressor. No one rallies to her defense. No one sends a message that we've got her back. Why does that matter? Because in every professional sport, locker room chemistry is sacred, and silence can be just as loud as any words. When a player consistently takes hits and no one steps up, that's a culture problem. Sources close to the team have hinted at growing unease. Some players reportedly feel that the media pressure around Clark affects how they're perceived. Others worry that the narrative has made the locker room feel divided between the Clark show and everyone else. Even in public interviews, you can sense the passive resentment. There's a lack of warmth, a lack of unity. And in a league that prides itself on sisterhood, this is unfamiliar territory. Worse, if leadership at the coaching and management level doesn't address this dynamic, it's going to fester. The Fever might make the playoffs this year, they might even win a few games. But they won't reach their full potential until they close the emotional gap that's opened up inside that locker room. And the WNBA at large? They've got a decision to make. Are they going to let petty jealousy and unspoken tension ruin what could be a golden era of visibility and growth? Or are they going to step in, reset the tone, and say, this league is big enough for everyone to shine, including the brightest rookie we've seen in decades? Because if they don't, Caitlin Clark won't just be an isolated figure in the league's most-watched story. She'll be a cautionary tale. And that would be a loss far greater than any injury.
But I'm looking at SeatGeek right now, and the tickets are, if you're looking at one ticket, you can get tickets in the bleachers for $12, including fees. You can get courtside seats for $200.
As someone who's followed women's basketball since before it was trendy, I'll say it again, this should have never happened. Caitlin Clark was a once-in-a-generation opportunity. The WNBA finally had a crossover star who could bridge college, pro, and pop culture. And what did they do? They let her get worn down and battered until she physically couldn't finish her first season. She brought the cameras, she brought the fans. She brought hope to franchises that were struggling, and instead of protecting her, they treated her like any other rookie. But she's not. She never was. The WNBA should have had a plan. Ref education, clearer enforcement, internal communication to avoid the culture of let her take her lumps. Because now she's sidelined, and the league feels quieter, flatter, and far less exciting. Yes, this is a contact sport, No one's asking for her to be wrapped in bubble wrap. But protection isn't pampering. It's professionalism. It's ensuring that your stars aren't put in harm's way unnecessarily. So I'm asking you, what does this mean going forward? Should the WNBA change how it protects rising stars? Or is this just how the game is? Let's talk in the comments. And if you care about the future of this league, subscribe, because how the WNBA responds next will define its trajectory for the next decade.
Right into it. Caitlin Clark delivering, and the Indiana Fever delivering a promo for tonight's playoff game. Do or die, win or go home against the Atlanta Dream.
First playoff game since 2016. I need to see every single person in Indianapolis, whether you're inside the arena, be outside the arena, I don't care. Show up, get loud for my teammates. We need to get a dub, and we're taking back to Atlanta.